Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this great event and celebrating 10 years of India-Sweden Innovation Day. My name is Erik Åstedt. I am Deputy Director at the Ministry of Climate and Enterprise. And I will be happy to host this session on the Sweden-India Innovation Partnership. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers in this panel. We have Dr. Per-ARNE WIKSTRÖM, the Science and Innovation Counsellor, Embassy of Sweden, joining us digitally. And I also would like to welcome MALIN PETERSEN, Program Manager at Vinnova, and HELEN ÅGREN, Director at the Swedish Ministry of Climate and Enterprise, and Cecilia Oskarsson, Trade Commissioner of Sweden to India and Head of Business Sweden India. Please come up on stage. And I also believe that we have digitally RUCHIKA DRALL from Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And I saw someone joining just in the lobby here. Believe Dr. Ahmed might be coming from Department of Biotechnology as well. So we have a great list of speakers here today. And maybe I should just start by saying a few words about the Innovation Partnership. Dr. Ahmed, glad to see that you're joining us here today, and also welcome RUCHIKA DRALL and Per-ARNE WIKSTRÖM. Great to have you here in this session.
Thank you very much.
This is a special day for me because I was there back in 2018 when we signed the Innovation Partnership, our Prime Ministers between Sweden and India. Could you please mute your microphone? Thank you. And I'm happy to say that this Innovation Partnership is stronger than ever. And I think the event today really shows that. The Innovation Partnership really is an agreement on the highest level between two prime ministers. And we heard Minister Carlson say earlier today that innovation collaboration has become one of the cornerstones of the relationship between India and Sweden. And I think that's true. Because the governments of India and Sweden quite quickly recognized that we have very much to gain from collaboration in the field of innovation and science. And I think we also heard that from the companies speaking here before us, that there is much to gain from collaboration. The innovation capacity in Sweden and the innovation capacity in India, they look a bit different, but they are very much complementary. Sweden being one of the global innovation leaders for a very long time, and Per-ARNE often talk about the unicorn companies in India, how India has more than 100 unicorn companies. We like to say in Sweden that we're also a unicorn company. We have a lot of unicorns per capita, but in absolute numbers, India is really, it's really thrilling to learn about all the Indian unicorn startups. And we also know that the Indian government is investing a lot in innovation clusters and building a strong innovation system. And I had the privilege to visit some of these innovation clusters together with MALIN actually back in December last year in Delhi and Bangalore. And the theme today, accelerating green growth, it's very much about co-creation, co-developing solutions to solve the large societal challenges. And we can really see that working alone is not an option here. We need to work across national borders and sectorial borders. So with that being said, I'm really happy that we have a list of speakers, both from India and Sweden here today. And all of these people are really key to accelerating the green growth and green transition through innovation. And I would like to start with Dr. Per-ARNE WIKSTRÖM. Per-ARNE, you've been in Delhi for more than 2 years now, and you are the Swedish Science and Innovation Counsellor. I believe that you have a great job, Per-ARNE, and a very exciting job. Can you please tell us about what you're doing and what kind of activities you're working on and planning for in the near future?
Sure, I will do that. Hello and namaste and hey. To everyone. I wish I had been in Stockholm today. It would be nice to meet with all of you, but it's This, as you know, and you heard already earlier today, this is the place to be. Delhi or India, anywhere. This is where it happens. So this, I prefer being here. Anyway, so it was actually quite interesting to listen to the previous session, which to a large extent evolved around the concept of innovation. And I just realized that actually based on what we're doing here at Office of Science and Innovation, we're having maybe a slightly different definition of innovation than is being used with many of the stakeholders here today, or it's linked to it, but it's not perfectly focused on the innovation that you would have, the definition of innovation that you would have from a business point of view, where the aim is to develop and deliver and maybe even scale new products or business systems for customers. The aim that we have when you work at an Office of Science and Innovation is broader, and it's much more focused on innovation as such. As you know, innovation in Latin it says innovare, and that means into new. And what we're aiming at here is to facilitate collaboration between not only, of course, larger companies, but also between researchers and the scientific community, in order to support Sweden-India science and research to move into the new, and to make a new understanding of how things are fitted together and how it works together. I mean, look at the Nobel prizes that are awarded. Many of them you would maybe not even at the first glance understand what kind of business use it might have, but in other cases, like in medicine this year, you would see the obvious link to the COVID vaccine, for instance, and such. So that's just a parenthesis. When I look at what we're up to here in India, I would say that we have, during these 2 years that I've been here now, and I'm on to the third, and I'm really, as I said, I'm really enjoying myself. We have plenty of delegations, as someone already said. For the next couple of months, we will see, I mean, at the moment we have a Swedish Energy Agency here, and you also heard Niklas talk about that. We have a Vinnova delegation, his big night coming in. We also have a huge, talking about research, we have almost 50% of all the universities in Sweden coming to India to try to establish collaboration with Indian scientists and researchers. So this is something going on that is totally new. We had a similar delegation trip last year, which attracted 5 Swedish universities, and now we have 16. So there is something happening also from the Swedish side, lots of interest, and we're really looking forward to that. Some other things that I think that would be interesting to mention here from our point of view is, while we're working, I think that, I mean, we have Cecilia here also from Business Sweden. I think that the collaboration within Team Sweden is, it's all the time we're improving and taking steps in order to achieve more efficiency in the terms in how we're collaborating. But I think I expect to see even more collaboration in the future. I would, for instance, see collaboration with Business Sweden and maybe with SIBC in terms of life science. We also have LeadIT coming up here. Also, again, Business Sweden and the Green Transition partnership that they are up and running on. So I expect to see a lot of collaboration between different actors within the Team Sweden context, and that will be very exciting to see as well. Finally, from my point of view, I would like to point towards things that are happening in India that will be also very important for us to have a look at from the Swedish point of view. I'm thinking the National Research Foundation, for instance, which maybe from a business point of view, you don't look at it from a Swedish business point of view. You don't look at this with a lot of interest, but maybe we should, because this National Research Foundation (NRF) will encourage companies to be engaged in research in India, and I expect that for Swedish companies that are already very much engaged in research and science, it will be easier for Swedish companies to engage with India through this NRF scheme. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think I will stop there. I mean, we have the Swedish big companies, many big companies that are very much investing in research, science and innovation that is bordering, you know, the scientific innovation and the business innovation. And that's where I think we will gain a lot of opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Per-ARNE, and I just want to underline what you said about, I mean, you really are positioned in the intersection between business, academia, innovation, stakeholders, the innovation system. So that's what really makes your role so very interesting, that you are a translator and building bridges between those different worlds and understanding business culture, academic culture, and so on. So I think that you are doing a very important job. Speaking of green growth, green transition, is there anything that you look forward to, or do you see any specific topics with regards to sustainability and green transition in the field of innovation and research? Is there anything sustainability related that you would like to mention from your perspective?
I mean, from my point of view, as I said, it would definitely be the things that are very interesting from this point of view. I would say what Cecilia and Business Sweden is doing on the green transition area. We have LeadIT's ambition that I know that you will hear more about. Yeah. So these are two huge areas. And of course, with also we have Volvo here and some of the larger companies, they will be very much influential here.
Great, Per-ARNE. Thank you so much. I will get back to you in the end of the session and ask you to give some final remarks as well. Now over to you, Malin Petersen. You are program manager for India and other countries as well at Vinnova, and you have a long background working with India. I hope your microphone is working. You know, Vinnova is really one of the most important stakeholders in this innovation partnership. Vinnova, of course, being not just a funding agency, but also facilitating connections between innovation stakeholders in India and Sweden, connecting incubators, science parks, and so on. And we heard from Minister Singh, actually. Minister Singh himself highlighted Vinnova in his inaugural speech. Very happy to have you here today. And two of your main collaboration partners are also the Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology from the Indian government. And you've also had quite a strong sustainability focus. We also heard Minister Singh mentioning the circular economy collaboration. So can you please tell us, of all these interesting things, is there anything that you would like to highlight? Anything that you've been doing lately with India or upcoming activities?
Thank you, Erik. Excellencies, colleagues and friends, it's really good to be back here. And like we heard from our distinguished ambassadors and honorable ministers at the outset, there's so much going on in Indo-Swedish collaboration on innovation. And of course, Vinnova, as the innovation agency, we're contributing to the implementation of the partnership, innovation partnership. And for example, we're supporting matchmaking between innovation actors like yourselves, innovation actors in Sweden and India. We would like to connect the innovation systems, and we do this by various means. We organize delegation trips. Per-ARNE mentioned one. Erik, you mentioned one. So, and we have several ones coming up. One together with SIBC, the one that Robin mentioned at the outset, Innovation Bridge. We have other matchmaking activities coming up. We fund Indian large corps We find out their needs and match them with solutions developed by Swedish startups. We also have a LinkedIn group called Sweden-India Innovation Initiative. I hope you're part of the group already. If not, please do join. In this group, you can find others interested in collaboration between Sweden and India within R&D. And in this group, we also post information about funding opportunities. And since we last met on this very amazing occasion, about 1 year ago, Vinnova and partners have funded 8 projects within circular economy, supporting the transition to circular economy. And it was mentioned by Minister Singh at the outset. So these projects, we co-fund them together with an impressive list of funding agencies. DBT, represented here today, is one of them. The Indian Department of Biotechnology, also DST, mentioned by Erik. And on the Swedish Ministry of Earth Sciences as well, on the Indian side. On the Swedish side, we have Formas, a research council for sustainable development, as well as Forte, Research Council for Working Life and Health, as well as the Energy Agency. We saw Niklas here in the previous panel. And last but not least, the Swedish Research Council. So a long list of funders, we came together and funded these circular economy projects. And each project received about €500,000 on the Swedish side, amounting to approximately 40 million euro in total, a rather substantial amount, I'd say. And in addition, we have the Indian funding agencies funding these projects as well, so actors can come together. And we also have more funding opportunities coming up. We have one at the moment within sustainable cities, mobility, digitalization, and AI. But to apply in this case, it closes on Thursday already, the 12th of October. So I suppose to have the slightest chance, you need to have a clear idea in mind, as well as an established partner. And if you don't feel like working day and night until Thursday, there are more opportunities coming up. We have one that might interest some of you within health. It's a call between Vinnova and DBT, and you will hear from them in a moment. It's a call within health, and we have 3 sub-teams: circular economy, biodesign, and AI-based digitalization. And on the Swedish side, we welcome applicants from different sectors: academia, enterprises, regional actors. So please have a look, and you may also approach me or my colleague Jannica here at the back. During the day, we will stay around in case you have any questions. All right. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you, Malin. And perhaps maybe I could ask you more questions, but I'm thinking about the Department of Biotechnology. Perhaps we should invite them to the conversation. Do you have anything you would like to add before we speak to DBT? So I believe that we have a late arrival from Dr. Ahmed from Department of Biotechnology. Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for being able to join us. And DBT is a very interesting part of the Indian government. And I've been visiting your premises in Delhi and also working a lot with BIRAC during the years. Could you please tell us a little bit about the collaboration between Sweden and India relating to what Malin Petersen just told us about DBT and Vinnova joining forces? And also a warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I got the charge of this department today only. So as per the information given by Dr. Vinita, just I received some information, and she has informed me that currently we are working on some calls, basically health in the AI digitization, biodesign, and circular economy. So I just, for the first day, I look forward to work together for the better cooperation, and also looking forward to work for the sustainable development and new opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, and really looking forward to see the outcome of these calls. I mean,
Sure, thank you.
bringing the stakeholders together and having this funding opportunity is really important seed money for building new collaboration and creating new constellation of stakeholders. So our next speaker I'm turning to is HELEN ÅGREN. HELEN, you are director at the Swedish Ministry of Climate and Enterprise, and you're my esteemed colleague at the ministry. Thank you so much for being here today. I know that we will be talking about LeadIT today quite a lot. LeadIT is a very interesting initiative, and rightly so, given the importance of addressing climate change and also the industry's role in green transition. And you're representing the Swedish government in this case, so would love to hear that perspective. Could you tell us a little bit about your work at the ministry and the way that you're interacting with the LeadIT initiative, please?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me in this panel. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning, good afternoon to you online. The Leadership Group for Industry Transition, it was launched in 2019 by the Prime Ministers of Sweden and India. Actually under the mandate of the UN Secretary General at his Climate Ambition Summit. So we now have 18 governments and 19 companies in heavy industries that are joined in this initiative to accelerate decarbonization in sectors such as steel, iron and steel, cement and concrete. And the aim is to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. So it's a huge task. These sectors, steel and cement, are responsible for approximately 7% of global emissions each. And only 5 years ago, the emissions in these sectors were seen as hard or almost impossible to abate. And today, one of our members, SSAB, has produced the first fossil-free steel. And our latest member in the group is one of the 10 largest steel producers in the world, Tata Steel. So since 2019, this group we have worked with our members to set the international agenda around the industry transition. And we have enabled transition plans in these sectors in various countries, including India and South Africa. And we have developed policy analysis and tracked announcements of low carbon investments and transition roadmaps and plans. However, the uptake of the industry decarbonization technology is too slow, and the long investment cycles in these sectors risk locking in carbon emissions for decades. So we must move faster towards transformative change through research and innovation, collaboration and co-creation, experience sharing, policy development, and also investments. And at COP28 in Dubai, LeadIT will launch its next phase, and we are seeking to take this initiative from planning and closer to implementation.
So that's very interesting, and of course a lot of innovation is needed. I saw some figures from the OECD. The research shows that about 50% of the emission reductions needed will come from technology that is not yet in the market. So there's a lot of technology that needs to come into market in order for us to enable decarbonization. So I think the LeadIT initiative is very important. When it comes to India and Sweden, could you tell us something about your interaction between Sweden and India and the bilateral aspects of this collaboration, as we also will hear from Ms. RUCHIKA DRALL here soon. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Well, as you said, we need a lot of technological innovation, but this is not the only place where we need innovation. We also need innovation when it comes to financing solutions, policies, and collaborations across value chains chains. We need to, I think, review and innovate in the way we work together, north and south, but also academia, governments and businesses, and also business to business. Otherwise, we will never be able to reach the 1.5 or even 2 degree targets. So if we are not willing to question the way that we have tackled climate change before, and I think we need to build trust, we must coordinate and collaborate closer, we must innovate and share in a way that can benefit us all. And actually we see movement in the global scene. International institutions and partnerships are discussing how the needs of emerging economies and emerging markets can be met at speed. And Sweden and India, we have high technological competence, we are innovative and strong research nations, we have ambitious companies, and we have good relations. So this is something we should build on. And we see a lot of opportunities in working closer together and inter alia by including green industrial transformation in the India-Sweden Innovation Partnership, and by taking LeadIT to the next level towards a green and just transition and towards more concrete action. So this is something we are discussing a lot right now.
That's great to hear, and I remember speaking to PER-ARNE about the G20 presidency also and the Global South, and how India has been doing a great job of really highlighting the importance of the Global South in the G20 context when it comes to sustainability. Well, thank you so much, Helen. And now I turn to RUCHIKA DRALL. You are Deputy Secretary to Government of India at the Climate Change Division at Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Welcome to this seminar, this event, RUCHIKA. Could you please tell us a little bit about your work at the ministry? I know from Helen that you also work with the LeadIT initiative. What kind of activities are you working on from your side at the ministry?
Thank you, Erika, and good morning, good afternoon, and God morgon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this interesting session, and it is my absolute pleasure to be part of this esteemed panel. And thank you, HELEN, for providing a brief background on the leadership group for industry transition. We call it LeadIT in short. It was co-founded by India and Sweden in 2019 by our honorable prime ministers. And I would also want to highlight that it is one of the 9 action tracks identified by UN Secretary General to boost the climate ambition and action to the implementation of Paris Agreement. And as HELEN has already highlighted, that the group now boasts of 37 countries and companies as its members, and 4 of those companies are from India. That includes Dalmia Cement, Mahindra Group, SpiceJet, and Tata Steel being the latest addition to the group. And just to give you a quick sense of what this LeadIT group is all about. It is about, the purpose of this group is to provide the policy and decision support for industry transition roadmaps towards low carbon emissions, and enabling collaborations for high-level dialogues and facilitating financing transitions to strengthen the NDCs of individual countries. And the group intends to provide a platform for sharing the know-how and the technologies for sectoral and cross-sectoral learning for commercialization of new technologies. In this regard, the group has been, working on 3 major impact areas during the first phase that began in 2019 and it ends in 2023. The 3 broad areas of the work included the Partnership for Change, evidence for action and industry transition roadmaps. And during the first phase of LeadIT, it provided inputs for the industry transition roadmaps for the cement and steel sector in India. And it provided some key policy recommendations for enabling and supporting the requisite transition in these two important sectors. And going forward in the next phase of LeadIT, we call it LeadIT 2.0. In addition to what we have been doing so far, the initiative intends to support transitions on the ground level through a structured framework that is being finalized in close consultation with the key stakeholders of the group. And this is something, very important and exciting that we look forward to at COP28. So this is about the LeadIT work that we have been doing so far. And as far as my portfolio at the ministry is concerned, LeadIT is one of the key activities that I look after in India. And me and HELEN represent India and Sweden in the management board of LeadIT, along with the colleagues from World Economic Forum. So we really look forward to the next phase of LeadIT, and we hope to make it more meaningful and impactful on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much, RUCHIKA. Very, very happy to hear about so many things going on within this initiative, and also having all these very important companies on board. We will soon hear from Cecilia Oskarsson from Business Sweden, also with a lot of insight in Swedish companies. But I just wanted to hear from you, if you look into the future, what potential do you see for this collaboration? Will we make it? Are you optimistic for this collaboration and the industry transition?
Yes, absolutely. There cannot be a better day to talk about the India and Sweden long-standing partnership than today, because it has been, strengthened and formalized through various, MOUs on important subjects. And one of the MOUs that we have with Sweden dates back to 2009, and it is in the field of environment. And that MOU basically identifies several potential areas of cooperation, including clean production and technology, which is, very closely linked to the transitions in the hard-to-abate sectors. And both the countries are looking forward to strengthening this partnership with focused cooperation on transition of hard-to-abate sectors in the upcoming phase of LeadIT. And our company members will play a very critical role in determining the shape of this cooperation and also ensuring the effective implementation on the ground. So the cooperation that we look forward to will be in, various areas that will include joint research and development projects, demonstration projects, co-development of the technology, exchange of scientific and technical personnel, and of course capacity building of both the sides. And with these kind of ambitions in mind, we request, the continued involvement and support from the Swedish as well as the Indian industry in making this partnership more meaningful in, the times to come. India is also receiving support from EU Climate Dialogue project, which is specifically in the hard-to-abate sectors, and also strengthening the LeadIT initiative in India. And, I would also want to take this opportunity to, thank our Swedish colleagues for their sustained efforts in forming up the, LeadIT through widening the membership of the group and also by deepening the involvement in the sector's transition. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much, RUCHIKA. It makes me very happy to hear everything that you say. And from the Swedish government and from the Ministry of Climate and Enterprise, I can assure you that India is a very high priority for the government, and we will do everything we can to live up to your expectations and make this collaboration even stronger. So thank you so much for being with us today. Now, Cecilia Oskarsson, you are the Trade Commissioner of Sweden to India, and you're the head of Business Sweden in India. We all know that Swedish companies are world leaders in sustainability and pioneers in green transition. And many of them, as we know, they have a very strong presence in India for a very long time. Could you please tell us a little bit about how Business Sweden is working with innovation, sustainability, and green transition in India?
Absolutely. Dear guests, dear ambassador, very nice to be here today and to be able to talk about innovation. So at Business Sweden, we definitely aim to be a partner on the ground in India, and we aim also to be a catalyst when it comes to driving Swedish innovation, but also the sustainability agenda in India. We are really striving for connecting and establishing long-term partnership, but also moving forward with strategic programs and also some advisory services. And as mentioned before, we have a very unique mandate at Business Sweden. We both have the government hat, but also the private hat. And as PER-ARNE mentioned, in Team Sweden, we work very, very tightly. So do we with Business Sweden, Embassy, Consulate, but also with our leading agencies such as Vinnova and, as we heard before, Energy Agency. So sustainability, innovation and green transition are always the focus themes on all of our strategic projects that we work with, a lot with the triple helix model that we heard also before. I can maybe mention 3 different programs that we are working with. The first one in health, the India-Sweden Healthcare Innovation Center, a collaboration between AIIMS Jodhpur, AIIMS Delhi and Business Sweden. And it's founded on 3 different pillars. The first one, fostering innovations, where we take care of scale up, foster and mentor innovative startups, both Swedish but also Indian, within the healthcare sector. The second one being 2 different center of excellences for bringing on a more holistic patient pathway in India. And the third one being an upskilling center for nurses, where we build capacity and spread knowledge in different areas of, in this case, diabetes care. So the second program I'd like to mention has already been mentioned a few times here, the Green Transition Partnership. And it's really there to accelerate the pace of green transition across different sectors, but especially different hard-to-abate sectors. And last year, when we started this program, we started with cement, steel, and automotive. This year, we have added a few more sectors. What we see, the outcome of this, is plenty of pilots and also a few commercial projects already, only after a year. It's really focusing on the footprint reduction of carbon footprint. I also believe that here we do have a few technical workshops, but also innovative workshops between Indian players and the Swedish sustainable solution players. So that's 2 very important ones. Quickly, I'd like to mention something that has also been mentioned earlier from Niklas at the Energy Agency, the India-Sweden Innovation Accelerator Program, which actually starts already tomorrow. I believe that WIKSTRÖM in next panel will talk a little bit more about that. It's a 11-year-old program which has introduced more than 60 innovations of green technologies into India already. But what we talk about when we talk about innovation is always cooperation and collaboration. I and Business Sweden, we do believe that it's not about implementing something, but it's about co-creation and co-developing together with Indian companies from our side. So all in all, 15 different strategic projects we are working on at the moment on this level. all laying the ground and foundation of green transition, but also inclusiveness and innovation. Maybe I can mention the last addition to this, a fintech delegation happening together with our finance market minister end of November. And that is all about innovation within the area of fintech.
It's great to hear. Very interesting initiatives. If I could ask you maybe to speculate a little bit about the future, where do you see our collaboration heading when it comes to innovation, sustainability, and business collaboration between Sweden and India? Would you like to look into the crystal ball? What do you see?
Absolutely, and maybe I can try to mention something which hasn't been mentioned here before. We know that India will add almost 200 million people in the working age population in the coming years, which is great when it comes to keeping competence within India and also keeping the Indian population productive. However, when people get older, which they also do in this part of the world, it also means that hospitals, infrastructure, elderly care need to be developed. And I do believe that this is an excellent area for Swedish companies to continue to co-create and develop together with India.
Great. So welfare technologies in different ways. Thank you so much, Cecilia. We are reaching the end of this session. We have about 1 or 2 minutes left before I believe we're going for a coffee break and to mingle. So I will not keep you going longer, but I just would like to give Dr. Per-ARNE WIKSTRÖM maybe the daunting task of coming with some final remarks, because like I said before, I'm so impressive of your ability to have this helicopter perspective with this overview of everything going on in different parts of our collaboration. When you listen to these speakers, both from the Indian side and also Swedish agencies and so on, is there anything that comes to your mind about the collaboration and where we're heading in this partnership for innovation?
Yeah, I think that Cecilia put it very well. But if I were to add something maybe to this, is everyone that we listen to tell us the story of a long-lasting collaboration that we've had between Sweden and India. We have a history, we have a relationship, these two countries. We have areas where we share an interest and an understanding that we have to work together on this one. We also have many of the hows. We know that we need to exchange resources through research and development, through research, basic research, but also through business contacts. And Cecilia also mentioned the need for mobility programs. I mean, these 200 million people that we talk about. So if there is one area that I might want to touch upon that would be interesting for the future is that, and that's very Swedish-oriented perspective then. I mean, Sweden is one of the best countries in the world when it comes to innovation, but we're very small in one sense, and so we need to be smart. And Sweden and India together needs to be smart. And I think that many of these initiatives that are up and running that really works, take LeadIT, for instance. That's a UN initiative as well. So you would have the UN engaged, but we also have other groups where we can become not only small and smart, but a little bigger and smart. And that is, for instance, working together with the Nordic countries. We share a very similar idea and view upon how sustainability needs to be approached. We have the European Union with many different opportunities where we can definitely work closer, and also with individual countries. We've had discussions with the Germans here and with the UK, for instance, and we can go together with them, together with India, Sweden, India, and separate countries. And the final thing that I would like to add to this is also that it's possible to open up the lid and not only look at it from a Swedish-India central point of view, but also look at the Indian states, the Swedish regions. How can we collaborate between these different entities. That's another area where we could collaborate. So triple helix, that's the key word, and we need to be very innovative and try to find new ways to use the relationships that we already have.
That's great to hear. I absolutely agree with you, Per-ARNE, and working with Indian states, regionalized innovation collaboration is very important also for building people-to-people connections and new networks. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers. From the Swedish government point of view, I can just reiterate what I said, that we believe a lot in this innovation partnership, and India is a very high priority for the Swedish government. So thank you so much to everyone who is contributing to making this innovation partnership a reality. We need a lot of brains and a lot of boots on the ground to make it happen. So thank you for listening to our session. Thanks to all the speakers, and have a good day.